My name is Cutner. I'm an image coach, I'm a relationship coach, and I'm also trained in a psychotherapy model called internal family systems, also known as IFS. Now, IFS is a trauma-informed, evidence-based psychotherapy model that's been around for about 40 years. And the basic premise is that the human mind is a multiplicity by nature. Now, physically, there's one Cutner in front of you, but mentally, I have parts. We all have parts. But because we believe that we're one, we're being led by our parts. So if a part of you gets angry, you become that part. You become angry. When a part of you gets sad, you become that part. You get sad. Now, I'm going to briefly share my story. I was born in Brooklyn in the 80s, but 2 months before I was born, my father was killed. So I never got a chance to meet him. My mom was 19. She poured into me that I was important, special, the golden child of the family. I was the first boy of the family, but she passed when I was 15, when I was in the 10th grade. And when that happened, a part of me had to go away. Okay, we call that exile. So anytime you go through trauma, now trauma is when you experience an emotion that's something that you never experienced before. It spikes you, right? So that was a huge grief. I never lost somebody so close to me. My mom was the closest person to me by far. There was no one next to her when it came to how vulnerable I could be, or just a person that, like, she knew me and she understood me in ways that no one else in my family knew. So losing her was traumatizing. Trauma is when you experience an emotion that spikes you. If you have someone to help you through the trauma, right, get you past it, guide you through it emotionally, then you don't get traumatized. You can move past the trauma, because life is a series of traumas, right? It's like going through life and never getting a bruise. It's impossible. So naturally, we're supposed to kind of go through trauma. That's what it means to be alive. That's the human experience. But if you have someone to help you with the trauma, you won't get traumatized. Now, I didn't have anybody to help me with that trauma, so I got traumatized. And when we get traumatized, we try not to feel. So, like I said, there's an internal family. Our parts, they behave like a family does, right? An internal family. They are different ages. Some parts believe their opinions are more important than other parts. Like the part of you that's telling you, you need to stop scrolling through social media and get back to work. The part of you that's telling you to stop scrolling believes it has authority over the part that is scrolling, right? And so these parts, they have this hierarchy that they have. And then there's the self. And the self never gets hurt, never gets damaged. It is the healing mechanism. It's the parent inside of the internal family. And it is a relationship with the self and the parts that heals the parts. The beautiful thing about IFS therapy is it is not the therapist that heals you. It is the therapist that helps you gain access to self. And then self heals the parts. Because all of our emotional issues came from a relationship injury. Somewhere in our past, there was a relationship injury, some abandonment, right, that we went through, some shame, some grief that we weren't able to go through. And so we got stuck with those feelings. And then we have other parts trying to protect us from ever going through that again. Because those parts say, never again are we going to go through that. So they protect you. So that part of me that was sad that my mom passed, that part got pushed away by my other parts. Because I'm in the 10th grade. Right? I'm the funny, cool, smart kid in school, not the kid with no parents. So I can't go to school being sad, or else I'm going to get treated like a sad kid. And I don't know how to go through that grief. The only way for me to get past that, I thought, was if my mom came back to life. And we knew that wasn't possible. So it's like, we either going to have to be sad all the time, or we're going to act like we ain't sad, and that part got to go away. And then fast forward 20 something years. And in one IFS session, I was healed from that. Now, the way it went down was I went to the session, closed my eyes, and the therapist, luckily, my first couple of sessions was with the founder of the IFS model, Dr. Richard Schwartz. He's the one who did the unburdening for this part. Now, I went inside, closed my eyes, and we do something called a retrieval. So this is how you heal in IFS. You do a retrieval. I go inside and connect to that part. Now, normally I could not connect to that part on my own. It's extremely difficult, if not impossible, for us to go and connect to our our exiles. The parts that we push away, they're exiles. And the reason why it's hard to connect to exiles is because we have protector parts, making sure that we don't go there, because those protector parts feel if we go there, something bad will happen. Don't open that closet if you can't handle what's going to come out, basically, right? And so I had to get those parts to give me some space from that. And when I went inside, I went to that part and I found him, like visually, I'm seeing him in the room that I was in when I was 15. This is 1996. He was in that same room and he's confused. Like, how are you standing here and I'm sitting in this chair? He's confused by that. And what he wanted was, and this is what we call a do-over, right? This is another healing step, a do-over. I asked him, what did you want to happen? When mom passed, what did you want to take place? And he said, I wanted somebody to come to me and say that they see me. They see my talents. They see my gift. They're not going to let me become a knucklehead, you know, because I got better grades when my mom passed. I got even better attendance. I stayed out of trouble because I knew I had a gift and I wasn't going to allow myself to get caught up in just being a regular black kid in Brooklyn, get caught up in some nonsense. Once he got everything he wanted to share, I asked him if he wanted to stay in that place. This is what we call the retrieval, right? And he said, no, I don't want to stay here. And so I asked him, well, where would you want to go? You can go anywhere, real or imaginary. And he said, I want to go to the arcade to see how good you are at Street Fighter after all these years. He might have said, oh man, because we used to talk crap back in the day when it came to playing Street Fighter. So I took him. I'm still inside. My eyes still closed, still in the session. We went to the arcade. Now, when we left that room, my other parts were kind of out the door because I asked them all to step back, right, and give me some space so I can talk to one-on-one. And when we came out the room, they were all like, he's out the room. He's back. They all hugged him. And it was like a group hug because they didn't want to push him away. They just didn't know how to deal with those heavy emotions. So we had no choice but to push him away. So once he came back, we retrieved him, went to the arcade, and we do something called updating, right? So he didn't know that we made it out of that bedroom. He didn't know that it was 2001. He didn't know that I have a son now. He didn't know that life went on. To him, it was still 1996. So when I updated him, it's like he literally came from 1996 all the way into 2001. Like, wow, that used to be there. This was there. It was mind blowing. And so once that happened, I retrieved him. I gave him a new role. And one of the roles that he wanted to do is he wanted to go back to school because he wanted to help the kids who went through similar things as I went through. So I've one of the leading people in the world taking IFS out of the therapy room and putting it into various programs. So I have a program for young men and boys in schools. I have a program for parents to help parents connect better with their teenagers. I coach men when it comes to their relationships, with their productivity. I'm working on a children's book with my childhood stories that's going to have IFS involved in it. Like I'm just doing various things when it comes to IFS because it's extremely healing. So that's IFS. Now, if you want to dive deeper into this, I'm one of the people, like I said, that's leading the world to help the world become more self-led, which means that instead of you allowing your parts to lead, you allow self to lead. Okay, self leads when you can identify the parts and not become the parts. You can negotiate between parts. You can blend with a part. You can become a part when you want to be, not get taken over by a part because a part wants to take over. That's what it means to be self-led. The things that I'm doing when it comes to IFS is so profound that I was asked to contribute to an IFS book. And that book, the chapter that I wrote is so powerful, I could not leave it in the book. Okay, I needed my family to hear it. I needed black folks to hear it. I needed people that are going through issues in their life to just hear my story, read, look at how I healed from this very quickly, and then come talk to me, right? Come interact with me. Go through any of my content. So I turned that book into a mini audio book, and I want you to listen to it as well. So you can go to my website, tycutner.com/freeingself, Now the audio book is free. You don't have to even give me your email address. All right, just click play on the site. You'll be able to listen to it, and then you can come and connect with me from that point. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you to the organizers who created this summit. Hope to connect to all of you. If any of this resonates with you, please reach out to me. And I'll say one last thing before I go. When I was able to heal that part of me that was grieving over my mom, and I brought him back and I connected with him and I updated him and he got a new role in my life, and I wasn't able to go in that place anymore, I was able to heal my mom. connect with my mom in a way that I never could before. Because just like how I may look like my mom or my grandfather or other people in my family, parts of my brain are also parts of my family. Therefore, some of the voices that we hear, they're not just us. They're our ancestors too. And when we connect to their self, because parts have self as well, we become much more powerful. Now imagine if the whole world was self-led, we would not have wars. We will figure out another way because we're a human family. So I appreciate you for watching. Thank you again.
Understand how powerful you are. Made in the image of God. You're not God, but you have the qualities of God. Birthed in this earth realm with spiritual gifts and talents in order for you to fulfill the purpose that God has for you. So yeah, there's a power behind you and about you. So repeat after me. The power of me. But today I want to ask you, is there anything in your life that is dimming the power of you? Because I need you to be actively activated in your power, in the best version of yourself. My name is Candace, and I'm affectionately dubbed the Spirit Chiropractor. I'm a spiritual life and relationship coach, an author, a podcaster. I do all the things because I'm on a mission, and I know that my purpose is to help people discover who they really are. So y'all, I'm a 70s baby, but there was a song in the 80s that came to mind when I was thinking about having this conversation with you, and it was Rob Bass, and it goes a little something like this. It takes two to make a things go right. Hey, it takes two to make it out of sight. Then he said, hit it. I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone. Y'all, that was one of my favorite songs back in the day. But as I was thinking about this, I thought about the two. So the power of me has another meaning. The power of our mind and our emotions. When they come together, they make everything all right. When they come together, it's a power that happens in twos. And so let me help you understand how powerful your mind is. Your mind holds your thoughts. You all, the average human has 60,000 thoughts a day. So what are you thinking about? Are your thoughts positive or your thoughts negative? Because guess what? Your thoughts are creating your reality. If you look at your life right now, it is because of the thoughts that you are holding, the thoughts that you're holding about yourself, about others, and the world. Our mind holds our beliefs, our values, and that is what we live by, you all. And many of us, probably all of us, are living from the fear that our mothers and our fathers held. We're living from the trauma that our grandmother and our great grandfather, they passed down from generation to generation. Our original thoughts are not even ours. And so I want to give you an example so you can see what I'm saying about us taking in things that possibly are not even true. So if you're at least 35 or older, you're going to be able to do this activity or this little skit or whatever with me. So I'm going to say a stanza and I want you to say the next part of it. Roses are red. Many of y'all said violets are blue, didn't you? I know you did. Now, are violets blue? No. Violets are purple. So I want to ask you, why did you say violets are blue? We said violets are blue is because that is what we were taught. That is what was repeated to us over and over again. And we began to say it like it was facts. So I want to know, are living in today like what you are thinking is facts. I remember asking my mama one time why she poured the water off of the green beans, because I found myself doing it and I didn't know why I was doing it. All I can recall is I do it because my mama do it. Y'all, I asked her why she did it. Do y'all know what she told me? She said, I don't know. So I've been repeating this all this time. Both of us clueless. But ain't that how it shows up in our life? We have family patterns that we are still doing that no longer serve us. And so let's go ahead and move to the E, which is our emotions. God is so good that our emotions, the onset, the impact of a thing, only lasts for 90 seconds. And after that 90 seconds, a feeling comes. And that feeling comes because of our thoughts, what we're thinking, what we're telling ourselves. So with that, my brothers and sisters, understand that sometimes we are re-traumatizing ourselves because we keep thinking, I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you said that to me. The nerve of you. And so as we keep thinking about these experiences that we are having, we just keep bringing ourselves back to that emotion. We done tried to move on. We've been good. And then we start back thinking about it again. And so you have to be mindful of your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions, because they are impacting how you are experiencing the world. But the great thing about them is that they promote healing, because when your mind and your thoughts start working together, you have a feeling in your body. Your emotions talk to you. Sometimes you feel it in your chest. That might just mean it's a heartbreak moment. You feel it in your stomach. It might be your intuition or your gut, or you needing to have some self-esteem and some courage. And so I just want to ask y'all today to take this, what I call the inner listening cycle, with you as a means of being able to shift your experience. So a circumstance is just a circumstance. It's neutral. Nothing is attached. All of us can be at a concert together and have a different experience because the circumstance is neutral. It's not until we put a thought to what is going on that there is a energy that begins to form within us, because that thought triggers a feeling, that feeling triggers an action, and that action causes a result. So whatever the result is of a thing, you can trace it right back up to what was I thinking in that moment. So if there's a part of your life that you are not happy with, that you choose to change, you're going to have to tap in to the thoughts, y'all. We have to heal, because if we do not heal, we will continue to dim our own light. We will not honor ourselves. We will continue to live in the hurt and the pain of our parents, of our grandparents. We have to be willing to do the work, and that doing the work may cause you to have to reach out and get support. But because you are so powerful, because God has created you as a masterpiece of his, we have to be willing to heal. And so my favorite verse, one of my favorite verses anyway, that ties into this conversation is Romans 12:2. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can test and prove the will of God, his good, perfect, and pleasing will. And if you came to watch Candace, I just want you to know that God is calling you higher. God is saying it's time to heal. It's time to forgive. It's time to do something different. And it all starts here. If you want to change your life, you have to change your thoughts, because your thoughts are things. As a man thinketh, so is he. So I need you to start thinking about yourself in the most positive way. Yes, we are flawed, but check this out. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So, what I need you to do after this is go and follow your girl on Facebook at Candace Tuck. You can also find me on Instagram at The Spirit Chiropractor. And you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under The Couples Lounge. I pray that your life is blessed because of your experiences. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
Kingdom greetings to you. I am Dr. Rosalind Bagby, preacher, apostle, a book author, conference speaker, summit seminar speaker, professor, teacher, mental health speaker, and various issues in life that God has opened up different platforms for me to be a part of. A founder of Sword of God's Word, and various platforms over the years of issues that God has caused me to be creative, to be able to plant. It is a great privilege to share on the subject of overcoming psychological distress, the inner battles and conflicts within the mind. The mind is a battlefield where thoughts and emotions wage war, dealing with finances, dealing with mistakes in life, just various struggles that sometimes we may not be able to explain or express, or just be able to tell, and sometimes may not even know exactly what it is, but you just know that you're dealing with mental distress or mental traumas, and things that have happened in your life that has traumatized. Some have gone through rape, and some have seen things that left a mark on their mind, is implanted on their mind, that is hard for them to get rid of. And sometimes it's just the inner ability to trust your own opinions over others, the indecisiveness when making decisions, doubting your own credibility, and just the constant comparing yourself to another, as if you don't see the value in yourself. You don't see the worth that you carry. You don't see the strength that God has given you, and you don't see how you have come through so much, and how you have a story, and how you have God is giving you power through what you've been through. I mean, just not seeing your self-worth, that sometimes, just downplaying yourself, that somebody else is better than you, and and always giving over something that was given to you and giving it to another when it was for you. blessings that comes your way, and don't feel like you are valuable and that God could not bless you because you just don't see anything in yourself. I mean, the mental challenges and the mental struggles that people go through on different angles and not understanding how to relate what you're going through. Some deal with mental issues publicly, others deal with mental issues privately. And the private ones can sometimes can be the most worst ones because you never know. I mean, you never knew that the person was going through these things and going through different battles with people and words people say and sometimes you become what people say about you, and what they say about you ain't so, but what God says about you, it is so. We become more what people say than who we really are. You're unique, you're peculiar. Your DNA is not the same. God made you different. So it's very crucial to prioritize awareness of mental well-being in this day of time because we don't know. I mean, look, David, we read about in the Old Testament, David was going through a lot of different struggles in his mind. One minute he was worshiping, another minute he was crying, another minute he was uh, praising God. Another minute, he was going through his woes and why God have you forsaken me and my enemies are all around me and have you delivered me over for them to overtake me. These type of things. We've watched David go through a lot of mental anguish. And how about Paul in the Bible? Paul was going through his own challenges. He said, he was dealing with two natures that was coming up against his mind. That gives us the inkling that for a moment he may have been going through some split personality challenges. So many different things that people are going through. And sometimes when you're called to do something very great, or you're called to do something that's beyond you, sometimes you go through the different mental anguish, you know, just overcoming things so that you can live this life of peace that God has called you to live. I was reading the book of the late Martin Luther King, and he has a book out on love, and he talks about the different things that can be a challenge for the mind, and unforgiveness can be one of them that causes many dysfunction and a lot of health issues if we don't forgive. It's like a root that causes, it stirs on the inside and it causes, many different displays in our life when we don't let things go. We all go through different things. We all have different challenges. So it's very imperative with awareness of mental well-being, harness the strength of togetherness, and conquer mental obstacles to nurture your overall mental health. Cultivating mental health and well-being through the power of unity, triumph over psychological challenges, and cultivating and reshaping our thoughts, releasing any feelings of guilt and shame, and taking into account your personal needs for a sense of safety and stability, building confidence in your decisions and making abilities by trusting yourself, regardless of what other opinions, and relying on your own inner wisdom and Christ for decisions. Engage in wellness coach for assistance in navigating your emotions and gaining fresh perspectives. Now, there's help out there. There's tools that God has given us that we can use, that we can strengthen ourselves if we're dealing with those things. I mean, don't be ashamed, because you know what? The worst thing you could do is sit there and shame and not admit that, look, we're going through something. And sometimes the most experienced one is still going through those mental distress. So it's important that we pull together as a community of people and be there for one another, strength to one another, strengthen your brother and your sister. Be encouraged and know that whatever you're dealing with is not too hard, that you cannot be delivered from it and that you cannot overcome. You can overcome it. All you have to do is put your first foot forward, move, and the other one will come as long as you move the first one forward. Changes. This is the time we're in. It's for changes. We're overcoming psychological distress. This is Dr. Rosalind Bagby, and I am on the internet. You can find me on Instagram, Dr. Rosalind Bagby.
Welcome. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by the endless demands of life, then this talk is for you. Cultivating your best yes empowers busy parents to reclaim their time by being more intentional about their decision making. I'm so grateful that you have made the decision that investing your time with me right now is your best yes. So let's just jump right in. Firstly, who am I and why should you continue listening? My name is Nicole Woodcox Bolden, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Illinois. And I have served a variety of populations over the last 17 years. Currently, I own a private practice called Thriving with Baby, and that's where I support families throughout their whole perinatal journey. So, this includes trying to conceive, their current pregnancy, and especially the postpartum time. And being an entrepreneur, wife, and mom to two young girls, in addition to being an only child to my mother, I have had to actively practice this concept of the best yes. So I assure you that the information that I share today is not just abstract information that I have researched, but I have lived it and continually practice living my best yes. Now back to you. Let's break down this idea of a best yes. Imagine every decision you make as a seed that you plant. And your best yes is that seed that grows into a flourishing tree, perfectly rooted in the soil of your values, goals, and priorities. It's about choices that echo your essence and guide you towards your dreams. In other words, your best yes is a decision that aligns with the vision for your life. I want to emphasize your vision, not your parents' vision, not your mentor's vision, not even that watered down version of your vision that focuses solely on the success of your children, but the vision that makes your soul leap. Yeah, that one. When was the last time you reflected on that vision? Have you ever written it down? If not, take out a piece of paper, pause this video, and write it down now. Don't wait until later. Do it right now before you talk yourself out of it or you get distracted by the 15 other tasks that are waiting for you. Okay, now that you have your vision written down, that is going to be like a compass for defining your best yes. I want you, before you agree to doing anything, I encourage you to pause and think about, does this yes align with the values and goals attached to my vision? Now, I know there may be some decisions that you just have to make for survival in this world, but taking the time to acknowledge if it's really your best yes helps you from getting too far off your path. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes entrepreneurs take on a traditional job for a little while just because, well, we got to pay bills. But if you're honest and intentional with why you're taking that job, it won't completely derail your entrepreneurial goals or kick you into a serious depression. Your best yes can serve can keep your bounce back muscles strong. Your bounce back muscles are stronger because you become clearer on what really matters to you. Thus, it gives you a solid lifeline of hope. Most people fall into deep depressions when they lose hope. So, to be clear, I'm not saying that your best yes will help you avoid sadness or other devastating events. What I am saying is that having clarity on who you are and how you want to show up in this life will provide you with a solid foundation to fall on when things try to knock you off your path. Now, I've already asked you to write down your vision. Now, I want you to do a little test of that vision to make sure that it's really yours. Because in order for your best yes to provide you with the hope that I'm talking about, your vision has to actually be from your heart. It can't be something that comes from the motivation of proving your worth or proving someone wrong or whatever. It has to be from your heart. So I ask you to take a moment, ask yourself, what lights up my world? What are my non negotiables, my passions, and my dreams? And ask you to write them down. Because if you simply think about these things, the odds of you taking action on them reduce significantly because you will again talk yourself out of them the longer they just hang out in your mind. So now that you have thought about and written down your non negotiables, it's easier to create meaningful boundaries. Boundaries have been a hot topic in the recent years, but reality is that many people use the term boundaries for things that are actually excuses to be mean, or just to avoid scary actions, or to not take full responsibility of their actions. I want you to really think of boundaries as filters that protect your environment of your personal space. They help you nurture things you care about by safeguarding your time, energy, and heart. When we set clear boundaries, we give ourselves the chance to bloom. They are not walls to keep the world out. Now, having a best yes compass means you're going to have to say no. Saying no might feel really tough, but it's actually a secret superpower. It's about making room for your best yes. When you say no with kindness, you honor your priorities and open doors to what truly fulfills you. It's a helpful reminder that every time you say yes, you are saying no to something else. For example, every time I say yes to a work commitment, I'm possibly saying no to time with my children. So I need to be sure that I'm okay with the other side of my decisions. The alternative to this is just saying yes on a whim and then later feeling overwhelmed and then feeling like you're juggling too many balls and then watching them all fall. When you cultivate your best yes, life becomes a little more vibrant. Stress hits, but it doesn't hit as hard. And you feel a little more fulfilled. And you find yourself living more authentically and investing in things that really matter the most to you. In essence, cultivating your best yes is about embracing your true self. It's about drawing lines with grace and choosing with courage and really trusting the wisdom that's in your heart. Take these steps and watch your world transform. I'm eager to hear your thoughts and answer any questions you may have about embracing your best yes. Let's have a meaningful exchange and grow together. So I invite you to download my free wellness plan and join my email list at www.thrivingwithbaby.com. You can also feel free to email me at info@thrivingwithbaby.com if you have any questions or just want to share some of your thoughts. I thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember, your best life is calling you, and it starts with your best yes. Wishing you a journey filled with love, growth, and yeses that lead you to where you're meant to be. Take care and have a great day.
Are you ready to share your message with the world? Introducing PitchDB, the all-in-one platform revolutionizing the way speakers connect with podcasts, conferences, and media outlets. With access to over 3 million platforms, finding your perfect speaking opportunity has never been easier. Our AI integrations create personalized bios and pitches, setting you apart from the crowd. Join the movement of speakers taking the world stage today. Join now at pitchdb.com.
Hey friends, I'm Lonnie Gregory, Principal Executive Consultant in iRise Performance Consulting, or iRise PC. My greatest designation, though, is Pop Pop, followed by Dad, and hopefully Friend. iRise PC addresses the needs of the workforce and its learning leaders from a systems perspective. We focus on results because learning matters and performance counts. My purpose for being is to help others be better at what they've been asked to do. I've been doing it for about 30 years now, and I'm proud to say I'm still learning. Enough about me. Let's get started. Close your eyes and imagine a scene where there is balance. What does that look like? What does that feel like? How do you describe that feeling of alignment, ease, support, and order? I understand what balance means, or maybe I don't. So I looked it up. As defined, balance is an even distribution of weight, enabling someone, you, or something to remain upright and steady. Synonyms include stability, equilibrium, steadiness, sure-footedness, and the like. Made sense to me, so I kept reading. Balance is also a condition in which different elements are equal or in the correct proportions. Equal or in the correct proportions. And wouldn't you know it, by example, right out of the dictionary, it says, try to keep a balance between work and relaxation. Like, no kidding. Yes, based on that definition, I'd like balance in my life too, but I'm not exactly sure how to achieve it. Perhaps you're in the same boat I'm in. So I thought about it even more. Another way to look at balance is to think about getting things just right. You start organizing parts and pieces, being careful to place everything exactly where it belongs. The goal is to find complementary items that align, correspond, and work together to achieve my purpose, support my various roles and responsibilities, bolster my authority, whatever that means, and increase the passion for the things I love most. We strive for balance to either expand or simplify the possibilities we undertake, knowing we can't accomplish much without it. Balance can be a beautiful thing too. Orderly, composed, symmetrical, inspiring, and awesome. Imagine an enterprise full of well balanced individual contributors, steady managers, and focused leaders. Imagine a government full of balanced representatives and representation, contributing to a system based upon three equal parts. Imagine a country balanced by its values, its words, its resources, and its posture. Imagine a planet where countries balance their needs against the needs of a neighbor. Balance can be graceful, mysterious, and elegant. Balance demands trust, builds confidence, and recognizes limits. Balance would also be important for knowing how high and how fast to raise the bar. We use terms like balance sheet, balance scorecard, balance budget, balance of trade, balance wheel, balance beam, etc., because the property of being equal is important or absolutely necessary for what we're trying to accomplish. Balance can also be perilous. You can get caught on your tippy toes with few options, nowhere to go, nothing else to do but stand there, balanced. Reaching out for help, balanced. Having to support yourself, balanced. Standing on top of things, trying to keep it together, trying to keep it balanced. Anyone ever feel like that? Balance gets complicated when involving others. While I'm trying to achieve balance, so are you. While you're figuring out your next move, so am I. What should I do next? What will they do next? Then what? Five people, one rope, one beam, five balance poles, one direction to go in, one goal to pursue. I'm hoping everyone is having a good balanced day. Oh, not that balance, but this balance. The balance we are interested in is that ever elusive work life balance, and many people are paying attention. Eric Comer recently wrote an article about work life balance, emphasizing a different way to think about it. The long and short of it goes like this: work life balance has been a long standing goal for employees, emphasizing the importance of balancing work responsibilities with personal life. However, a new concept, life work balance, is emerging, shifting the focus to prioritizing personal well being over work obligations. Before the pandemic, y'all remember the pandemic? Work was typically done at the office, but advances in technology blurred the lines between work and home. Even though remote work was often considered a perk, it became necessary and even mandatory during the pandemic. Many employees thrived in this new environment, leading to a shift in favor of life work balance over work life balance. Life work balance emphasizes prioritizing personal well being and family life over work commitments. This shift is driven by factors such as increasing burnout rates, changes in employee values, preferences of younger workers, and support from our business leaders. And while all of this is true, all they really did was reverse the words. I think we can take it a step further. Instead of work life or life work balance, I'm jumping on the more disciplined paradigm of work life integration. Perfectly balanced rocks we looked at earlier. Integration is deliberately selecting components and arranging them such that they demonstrate values, incorporate others, is focused on vision, mission, goal, and is responsive to the environment in which it resides. My friends, in the dictionary land, they say this about integration. Integrate means to bring together or incorporate parts into a whole, to make up, combine, or complete something, to produce a whole or create a larger unit. More like clockwork than puzzle pieces, integration introduces harmony, satisfies purpose, aligns activities, and incorporates others and other things. Integration allows for adjustment and refinement. Integration is proactive and responsive, not passive and reactive. There are similarities and differences between balance and integration. Honestly, it's a matter of perspective. For instance, there's harmony. Both balance and integration aim to create harmony by blending different elements. Then there's wholeness. They both seek to create a sense of wholeness or completeness. There's optimization. Both concepts involve optimizing the relationship between various parts to achieve a desired outcome. Now, there are some differences. They're subtle yet profound. For instance, focus. Balance often implies equal distribution or stability among different parts, while integration focuses on combining different parts into a unified whole. Then there's process versus state. Balance is often seen as a state to be achieved or maintained, while integration is more of a process of combining and blending elements as required. Then there's dynamic versus static. Integration can be seen as a dynamic process of interaction and change, while balance can sometimes imply a more static state. Then there's scope. Integration can involve a broader scope, encompassing the combination of various elements or systems, while balance may focus more narrowly on specific areas of your life, like relationships. And then there's context. Balance can be more context dependent, varying based on the specific circumstances or goals, while integration may be more universal or fundamental. While both balance and integration involve harmoniously combining different elements, balance often implies stability and equal distribution, while integration focuses on the dynamic process of blending elements into a unified whole. More like clockwork than puzzle pieces, integration produces harmony and feels complete. Friends, we maintain mental images and colloquial sayings that inadvertently confound our thinking, distort our judgment, and cause us to make decisions not in our best interest or in the interests we espouse. Shifting from trying to achieve balance to deliberately seeking integration ends up achieving the harmony we desire. Sometimes a shift in perspective and the clarity that shift brings can make all the difference in the world. Integrate your worlds to achieve the balance you desire in your world. I say integrate to fully participate. Be well.
Denzel Washington once said, "What it taught us all, talking about the pandemic, is that our lives can change in a moment's notice." How many of you have experienced disappointment in your life? You know, when things are going great and then life throws you that curveball? Well, today I'm going to show you how to leverage a situation set up to destroy your mental health. By the age of 38, I was living my dream life. I was traveling everywhere internationally. I had a good job, owned my first home, and was driving my childhood dream car. I had never been married and didn't have kids, but I was indeed living my best life. In 2015, life got even better. I met my future husband, and we were inseparable from our first date. And for the next 2.5 years, we met each other's families, vacationed together, and spent holidays together. Yeah, we even had a hashtag for social media. It was a true love affair. One day after work, I was in the kitchen preparing dinner when the phone rang. Now, I don't know about you all, but I usually don't answer numbers I don't know. But something deep down told me to answer this call. To my shock, on the other end of the line was his wife of 12 years. Yes, 12 damn years. I couldn't believe what I just heard. Not this man who said he loved me and even helped my parents throw my 40th birthday party. This had to be a prank or a disgruntled ex. But it wasn't. After what seemed like hours of silence from both of us holding our breath, I finally let out a gasp. And she said, "Oh my gosh, you didn't know." You see, I hadn't known. My values would never allow me to knowingly be someone's side piece, someone's side chick. My mind, my body were completely empty as we talked and compared notes for the next 4 hours. When we finally hung up that phone, I fell into my couch, hoping it would catch me and console me. I sat there for what seemed like hours in silence. And then all of the emotions came. They came all at once. I was hurt. I was angry. I was angry at him. I was angry at myself. How could I miss or ignore the red flags? The next few days were a blur, and I felt lost, overwhelmed, and I was slipping fast into a deep depression. I felt this way before at different times in my life, but this time it was just too much to carry. As the days went on, my mind was defeating me and telling me to end it all. The rest of me obliged, as I took alcohol and pills to slip away from this cruel world. And I slipped into sleep. I did promise God that if I woke up, I would get help. I died that night. Not physically, but who I knew myself to be. I kept my promise to God and called a therapist so I could live again. Through therapy, I did learn that my thoughts were because of undiagnosed clinical depression. I also learned I had anxiety, and because of this situation, PTSD. It took me time, but I had gone from breakdown to breakthrough. If I hadn't gone through this, I wouldn't have discovered that there was a better version of me. You see, I was born again. I had survived a horrible ordeal and learned the mental part of me that I had always ignored. This shy girl learned a new confidence and leveled all the way up. In 2 years, I was managing my mental health with meds and therapy. I gained confidence and went after promotions I never would have went after before. And I increased my salary by $40,000. I found my purpose and started a passport to breathe, a mental health safe space. I became a 2 times published author and creator of a mental wellness app. I now constantly tell myself, Deshauna, you cannot change the world until God changes you. Now when life throws me a curveball, I look for the lesson in the pain. I encourage each of you that if you have thoughts you can't control or overwhelming feelings, it is okay to seek help. In fact, on the other side of that help can be a great life. So don't be afraid. Don't think it's cliche. And I will leave you with this. Start living your life, looking for your why and your purpose. When we look for the lessons in life's disappointments, we can overcome anything quicker and live a happier, more purposeful life. I thank you for joining me today. And if you scan my code and leave a review, you can download my app for free.
Surrounded by the hum of technology that has become the backdrop of our lives, I'm here to share a simple truth. In a world that's constantly connected, finding your own rhythm of wellness is essential. I'm Carol Milletta, CEO of the Parenting 411, a parent resource hub where I deliver information parents need from sources they can trust. I'm also a fellow traveler through the complexities of modern motherhood with twin sons of my own. In this ever-evolving landscape, I give parents tools and strategies to courageously connect with their children, confidently teach them skills for life, and consciously tap into the joy of the parenting journey. Today, we're here to explore not only how we can coexist with technology, but how to make it a harmonious part of your wellness journey. So let's get started. Our world has been transformed dramatically by technology over the past 30 to 50 years. There was a time when the most advanced gadgets and applications were reserved for the military, manufacturing, or science. But today, we consumers have so much functionality right at our fingertips. At home, we can prepare meals faster. We can have a pot of hot coffee waiting for us when we wake up in the morning. And we can control appliances and the lights around the house with the sounds of our voices. But all of this can be overwhelming for some. I can remember smartphones came out and everyone was rushing to get one, but I was holding out because I just thought it was a slippery slope to technology taking over my life. It's like a computer in your hand, everybody said. I don't want a computer in my hand. I have a laptop. I have a desktop. I need a phone. That's it. And, I had enough complexity in my life with my children, one of whom had special needs, and I just felt like I wanted to keep things simple. Plus, I could already see that with all of this access to information and the exponential capabilities that it gave us, the expectations of everyone around us, at work, at school, and everywhere, would go through the roof because we are expected to know more, do more, and be accessible more of the time because of what technology does for us. What started as an instrument of empowerment can quickly become a source of stress if we let it. Now, in the end, I became a believer, of course, but I'm still going to dive into some tips that helped me preserve wellness in a wired world. First, I learned to embrace technology. You can't fear technology. You've got to build a productive relationship with it. And as I teach parents that I work with, technology is a tool. It can be a teacher. Sometimes it's a toy, but it should never be a tyrant. Let technology in only if it's going to help you. Since it's here, find ways to use it if possible to make your life easier. For busy parents, it can be very convenient to keep track of everyone's schedule electronically, for example. Now, I know some of us still like hard copy, but you can use an online calendar to complement that. You can use Cozy Family Organizer or Google Calendar so that everyone in your family knows where everybody else is until you all get home together again. When my children were in different schools, playing sports and other activities, integrating all of the calendars kept me from being surprised when, say, a teacher workday popped up. And for me, no surprises meant no stress. And, there's so many life functions that you can track electronically, like your child's progress at school, their activities, your fitness goals, your finances, and so much more. But the important thing is that you only use technology for what you want it to do. Make sure that it serves as a tool, as a teacher, or as a toy. I remember when they started selling the video players in the cars, everybody rushed out to get those too, to keep the kiddos entertained and quiet in the car. I refused. Even on long trips, I had games planned. We listened to audiobooks. And guess what else? We talked. I strongly resisted because I wanted engagement and connection and not isolation in my family. Remember, if you can accomplish your goals better offline, then keep it offline for your peace of mind. Next, you have to set the rules of engagement. I read somewhere that 40% of parents with school-aged children say their children spend too much time on technology. I know some of that happens during school instruction during the day, but at home, I have to ask you, who's in charge? It all starts with you. Establish boundaries for yourself and your family about when, where, and how technology is going to be used. Make sure everybody knows the tech-free zones like mealtime, bedtime, family time. And draw up a family agreement in writing. Discuss and practice digital safety. And make sure that family privacy is preserved by all family members. And take full advantage of technology to protect your home network with firewalls and such. Now, with all of the practices I just mentioned, next, you've got to be accountable to yourself and a role model to your family. Your online activity should match your real world values. Be mindful of what you consume. Do not be sucked in by toxic content that disrupts your mind and spirit. Research revealed that many mothers are left feeling inadequate and hopeless after watching the seemingly perfect lifestyles presented by mom influencers on social media. If you aren't being helped, if you aren't being taught something useful or pleasantly entertained, shut it down. Consistently unplug and make time to be present, both with yourself and with your family. Shut down your devices an hour before you head to bed, and dock your devices in a central place outside of the bedroom to avoid distraction when you should be getting a good night's sleep. According to home.com, sleeping with your phones next to your bed can expose you to low levels of radiation and can cause disrupted sleep due to sounds and flashing lights from notifications. Last on the list is balance. Intentionally schedule time throughout your week for activities that don't involve screens. Walks outside, exercise, music, quiet time, all of that can clear your mind from the onslaught of information that's constantly coming your way through screens and technology. You can also allow some time for entertainment with technology on your own terms. Finally, look for ways to channel some of the activities you enjoy online into real-life activities. Go see a play instead of watching a movie. Go to a museum where you can enjoy art close up. Go to restaurants where you can sample global cuisine and take in the sights, the scents, and the tastes of the culture. As you can see, technology doesn't have to be the enemy. It can indeed be an ally. Wellness in the digital age is possible, but you do have to take the lead. Nigerian beauty mogul Terafel Duratoy says, life never gives you what you deserve, but what you decided. Decide if technology will help you attain peace in mind, body, and spirit, and leverage it on your own terms. I've enjoyed my time with you, and I want to offer you my free guide, Quick Tips on Electronics and Media. Just visit www.carolmaletta.com/VIP2. That's carolmaletta.com/VIP2.
Jamera here. And did you know that I know that we know work can be a grind? We all know the feeling, right? Buried in emails, information overload, stuck on that endless task treadmill. Work can be a challenge. And it doesn't just zap our productivity, it zaps our overall well-being. The stats are brutal. 85% of the global employees are disengaged, feeling undervalued and unmotivated. In the US, it's like a mirror. 70% are trying to understand why they have to work. They feel stuck, unheard, and frankly, unappreciated. I've been navigating the work world for 2 decades, seeing up close the strain, the exhaustion, the heavy toll it takes. And let me tell you, stress is bleeding the global economy dry, costing trillions with a T, not just in healthcare, but in the lost productivity and motivation. But the real cost, our well-being, we're burnt out, stressed out, and frankly, miserable. So why are we hitting this wall? Unclear goals, relentless pace, and a lack of support and recognition all play a part. This isn't just frustrating, it's leading to a world of stress with nearly half of us feeling it daily. But hey, there's hope. I'm Jamera Scott, an AI consultant, developer, and the heart behind No Code for Change. I'm here to spread the good news about a powerful technology that can make a real difference called No Code AI, or No Code Artificial Intelligence. No Code AI isn't some Will Smith iRobot sci-fi movie. It's about empowering you to use powerful artificial intelligence tools easily without needing a PhD, no tech, no new certifications. Think of it as a game changer for your daily grind. Let's face it, our workplaces can often feel like anxiety wonderlands. Mind-numbing tasks, unclear communication, that constant feel of being disrespected, and the ever-looming thought of today might be my last day due to a burnout. But No Code AI has your back. Here are some tools that can revolutionize how we work. Have you ever sent an email you instantly regretted? Per my last email, GPT analyzes your tone, suggests calmer paraphrasing, and helps you communicate with style and grace. How about this one? Have you ever felt so disrespected and you just knew this cannot be legal and it has to be against policy? Well, maybe you were right and you just didn't have the right resources. And AI tools such as Employee Handbook and State Law Guide, GPT, is your legal guardian angel that cross-references your handbook with your state laws to provide you a clear answer to your question. Was I disrespected? What about when you have to figure out your benefits? Remember being overwhelmed? Well, the Benefits Buddy GPT is your personal guru, analyzing your needs and helping you choose the best option for your well-being and your family's well-being. These are just a taste of how No Code AI can transform your workday. It can streamline tasks, improve communication, and prioritize your mental health. Imagine waking up energized, ready to conquer the day, with no looming deadlines, overflowing inboxes, or benefit renewing anxiety. This is the future of work. With No Code AI, we're meeting efficiency and well-being, allowing you to strive. Imagine an AI assistant that can handle repetitive tasks, freeing you up for more meaningful work, meaning the job you were actually hired for. Think AI project management tools, keeping you on top of deadlines. An AI writing assistant, crafting clear, non-emotional emails, and also writing reports in a flash. No Code AI is revolutionizing communication. It breaks down language barriers, fosters inclusivity, and enhances collaboration. It's transforming work from a series of isolated tasks to cohesive collaborative efforts. And let's not forget your well-being. No Code AI can be your personal wellness coach, tracking your hours to prevent burnout, offering personalized sleep and fitness recommendations, all seamlessly integrating into your daily life. Studies show that a happy, less stressed employee has a stronger immune system and 27% less likely to experience chronic problems like heart disease and diabetes. Studies also show that a happy employee are 20% more productive and take 50% less sick days. No Code AI isn't a dream. It is here and it's accessible. It's ready to turn your workday from a battlefield to a playground of productivity. and wellness. Want to dive deeper? Connect with me. Jamara Scott, that's Jimmara Scott, SCOTT, on LinkedIn. And let's explore the incredible possibilities of the no-code AI. Thank you guys for your time. Have a good one.
Meet PitchDB, the ultimate platform for speakers looking to make their mark on podcasts, conferences, and media outlets. PitchDB provides access to over 3 million platforms, ensuring you find the perfect avenue for your message. With AI integrations, your bios and pitches are tailored uniquely to each opportunity, giving you the edge you need. Join now at pitchdb.com.
I'm Dr. Nakia Young, CEO and founder of Victorious Living Solutions. And today I'm excited to talk to you about the topic, the jealousy epidemic and its impact on women in leadership. This was actually the subject of my dissertation that I recently completed. And so I'm going to do my very best to condense months and months of research into 10 minutes. Here we go. So the first thing we need to do is define jealousy, because the word is used interchangeably with envy a lot. And the two are fraternal twins, but there's some slight differences. Envy is just simply wanting what someone else has. With jealousy, there is a little more involved. There's a resentment and a hatred and an almost obsession with the target of the jealousy. You don't just want what they have, you resent them from having it. And then you begin to do whatever you can to stop their success or their forward progress, because you see it as a direct threat to you. And that is really, really deep. So let's get into even deeper how that impacts or how that shows up in women in leadership. During my research, I read a book called In the Company of Women by Dr. Pat Heim, and she coined a phrase that went off in me like a bell, because I've experienced it. Ladies, I know many of you probably have too. We just didn't have a term for it until now, and that is called the power dead even rule. In the book, she talked about power dead even being and subconscious rule that we as women do and don't even realize that we're doing it as we're interacting with each other, where in order for two women to have a positive, maintain a positive relationship, the self-esteem and power level of one has to be equal to the self-esteem or power or confidence level of the other. Whenever there's an imbalance in that for any reason, one woman suddenly starts experiencing more success, suddenly starts gaining access to more opportunities. The other woman subconsciously wants to pull her back down to make the power level back even, thus the name power dead even. And so another word for this, another phrase we use is crabs in a barrel syndrome, but it's the same concept. And yeah, men can do it sometimes, but because women, the way we relate to each other is different, it shows up amongst women more often. And so what does that look like in leadership? Here are 3 things that women who are jealous in leadership tend to do, or 3 problems that they cause, I should say. The first is jealous women in leadership do not do a good job of training the people underneath them or creating opportunities for growth. That's the last thing they want, because they see anyone who is coming up to their level as a threat. So they hold people back more than they propel people forward. Number 2, jealous women in leadership are a cancer to companies. When you have this kind of woman, she is inflicting psychological warfare on everyone who reports to her. And by psychological warfare, I mean it's abusive. Women have mastered the art of doing conflict in stealth mode, and that is called relational aggression. Men, when men get into conflicts, they will have their little shouting match or duke it out, and then they move on. That's the end of it. With women, the conflicts tend to drag out because we don't do the shouting, because heaven forbid, that would be unladylike. We've mastered the art from childhood up to adulthood. In childhood on the playground, it looked like, I don't like her, so I'm going to tell Sally not to like her either. And Sally's going to tell Jenny, and Jenny's going to tell Susie. And then all of a sudden, we're going to collectively freeze her out. That doesn't end on the playground, although it should. You would think that grown women would not behave this way. But one thing about jealousy that you should know, there is absolutely nothing logical or rational about it. Jealousy is irrational. It's selfish. It only seeks out its own agenda and doesn't care about anybody else. That is the opposite of teamwork. Number 3, jealous women in leadership can cause companies to become hesitant to hire women. Yeah, that's a big problem that could arise. If every time a company places a woman in leadership, or they've had this happen, not every time, but multiple times enough to where the male CEOs are going, every time we tend to put women in these kinds of high level positions, we have this catfighting. And men don't know what to do with catfighting, ladies. It really just, they're like, whoa, what? I don't know what to do with this. And they want to get as far away from it as possible because it's so different than how they engage in conflict. And so that is a big problem. Because as women, we have been clawing and scratching and fighting for these kinds of opportunities. And so the last thing that we want to do is become the enemies to our own progress because we can't get it together in this jealousy department. So here are some solutions. If you are working in a company where you are reporting to someone who is one of these toxic, jealous women in leadership, you have to, number 1, speak up. You owe it to yourself to not become the target of psychological abuse. And by you speaking up, you're going to give other coworkers who are experiencing this same workplace trauma the courage to do the same. And that is going to force the company's hand to do something about it, hopefully. But if not, you at least made them aware that there is cancer and it's up to them to do something about it. Number 2, gratitude. This is something that we can each do individually, is look inward and really spend some time each day being grateful for the things that you already have. Being envious, or envious simply wanting what someone else has, that's a normal emotion. But when that happens too often and it goes unchecked, envy gives birth to jealousy. And that is not what we want. So by being in gratitude every day, you're really helping to prevent the jealousy spirit from coming up on you and causing you to have a negative impact on the people around you. The third solution that I have for this jealousy problem, this epidemic, is social media, y'all. Social media really kicked up jealousy and envy a notch because although it gave us ways to communicate with each other and promote our businesses, and it did a lot of good, social media also gave us access to too much information in that we have the ability to know what everyone else around us in our peer group is doing. Like when you look at sites like Instagram and you're constantly seeing pictures of people happy and doing things, sometimes ignorance is bliss, y'all. And so you need to just turn that off. If you find that you're struggling with being happy for people, or you were having a good day, but you hopped on social media and you saw someone doing something or experiencing a success in an area that you've been having trouble in, and your first instinct is to roll your eyes, you need to take a break, right? Turn it off until you're able to see those things and it not negatively impact you. That's just real. Bottom line, we have come too far, women, to tear down years and years of striving. When we don't get it right in this department, we make it harder for the women that are coming up behind us. So we have to do better. Thank you.
Happy wife, happy life. Or is it happy spouse, happy house? Well, I'm sure as a professional, when you leave your home or your family to go into an office, or these days, your home office to work, your mind most likely shifts to your happiness at work. And as for organizations, well, Gallup statistics show that the most successful companies are adopting innovative engagement, well-being, and communication strategies. In the end, happy employees never leave. But how do we get to this mentally and physically safe space in our professional worlds? Well, that's a good question. Hi, my name is Mariah Manuel Berry, founder and CEO of Knowledge Career Experts, LLC. In my work, I help mid-career professionals and organizations committed to fostering inclusivity and well-being to thrive using the power of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, especially within the Black community. Over the next few moments, I want to share with you some key topics or strategies to show you how the topic of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging truly ties to your health and wellness. There are 3 keys that really help a person to feel empowered as an individual, especially within an organization. The first key, fostering inclusivity. Now, this doesn't mean everywhere you go, you'll feel like you are a part of something huge or great, or even like you always belong there. But I will say that in any organization you are a part of, you should feel safe and feel like you belong somewhere. I help organizations create a safe space psychologically and emotionally for their employees. When working with individuals, I help them learn how to tap into the part of themselves that lets them know who their true, full, authentic selves are as it relates to the professional world. So fostering inclusivity means for an individual, you embrace who you are. And for organizations, you allow individuals to be who they are safely. This creates a healthy environment where people can thrive. Now, the second key is probably the most important, which is prioritizing mental and physical wellness. Oftentimes, we hear terms like burnout or disengagement, which starts to sound like buzzwords. But these are parts of our professional worlds that we must listen to and truly begin to understand. I can tell you from experience of trying to be the strong Black woman that is showing the world and her boss that she can do it all with no help, that these terms can negatively impact your mental or physical states and are very real. Eventually, burnout happens to us all if we're not careful, and it can turn into disengagement.
If you want to make a big impact in your professional career, then you must consider your mental and physical health first. If you're not physically and mentally strong, then unfortunately, you cannot perform at your best. This does a disservice to you, your family, or even your career. And it's also something not to be ashamed of, because as humans, we must re-energize. You don't believe me? Well, let's take a second. Do this with me. Take a moment to think, what brings you joy? You got it? Got it in your head? Good. Now, the next time you feel like you need a break and you need to just step away, I want you to do that, whatever that thing is. This is honestly being equitable to yourself. Now, the final key, drive cultural change, touches a lot of our world because it speaks to how we have been wired to do things. You know the story that most people hear: go to school, get a good job, work that job for about 50 years, retire, travel if you've saved enough, or struggle if you haven't. Well, this is the old way of thinking. Now there are so many alternative options out there that is causing a cultural change within the professional space. You can actually sit in the driver's seat of your career to drive this change. Now you're probably thinking, what do you mean, Mariah? What are you trying to say to me? Well, first, you have to find out who you are authentically. And then after you find that person, you have to find out what you're passionate about. And when these two things collide, I promise you will be the one driving the change that is happening all around you. Maybe it starts to look like owning your own business, or maybe you go to a trade school, or you choose a new industry or a new field. Sky's the limit, and you can drive this cultural change that exists in our world today. It's a change that I believe wasn't always available to the Black community, but now it is. Now there is a space where there is allyship, support, mentorship, sponsorship, grants, and you can truly start to maximize what is around you and drive cultural change. Now, I know I've talked heavily about each of these topics: fostering inclusivity, prioritizing your mental and physical health, and driving cultural change. And I hope that I really showed you how they tie to your health and your wellness. Well, I can tell you that after having over a decade of experience in the learning and development space, I believe that once you start to use these actionable strategies to become catalysts for cultural change while also prioritizing your mental and physical wellness, you will see that your life can be so much happier. Like I said from the beginning, happy employees never leave. But to get there, every individual must own their happiness. Now, I'm big on challenging people in my coaching, training experiences, and even when I'm publicly speaking, because I believe this helps you to reach your elevation point. And as a professional speaker, coach, and organizational development expert, I am passionate about your learning and growth and helping you reach your next level. So here's my challenge for you today. First, connect with me on LinkedIn and tell me, what are you going to do differently today than you were doing prior to hearing me speak? Second, visit my website, knowledgecareerexpertsllc.com, where you can have access to resources and information that will foster cultural change, promote inclusivity, and prioritize your mental and physical wellness in your professional career and even in your community. I am so proud of you because you showed up. And I know that you are going to do something different that will help to strengthen your mind and body in a way that creates a better culture. Most importantly, you're going to make the world better than it was before you entered it. It was so nice to meet you. Let's stay connected.
From stress to success, your path to financial and mental well being. Today, we're going to be unlocking your true financial potential with your girl, me, Coach Jackie. So, hey, I'm Coach Jackie. I am your favorite money mindset coach. I am an NLP, which is a neuro linguistic programming practitioner, and hypnosis practitioner, an EFT, emotional freedom technique practitioner, an author, and an international speaker. I have a vast understanding for how the brain works. I got my degree in psychology. I mixed it with all the techniques I just told y'all about. And I have created personalized bundles and courses that really leave lasting results for massive success in your life and in your business. So let's talk real quick. What is money mindset? Money mindset is your unique belief, your attitude about money, honey. Okay. Your money mindset basically stems from the ideologies and the beliefs from the people, family, your mother, sister, brother, cousin from your past. Like you literally have been programmed to think what you think about money. And these programmings are showing up in your behavior. But let's talk a little bit more about this. So, how does it show up in your behavior? Your thoughts equal your behavior. You receive information in on your five senses, okay? So, all the things that you've been programmed to believe and the experiences that you have been receiving this information and it's been programming you, okay? And when the information comes in, you're either taking it, you're either deleting it, or you're holding on to it for a very long time. Some of us have beliefs and thoughts that came from other people from hundreds of years ago, and we're still using it like it is true today. And it's not even relevant in your current world. And so how does this show up? These thoughts show up as your behavior. These thoughts show up in the way that you think, move, and groove. And the thing about it is, these thoughts are only showing up like this for the simple fact that they're gotten into the subconscious mind. So your brain and your behavior, operating on the fringe mainstream of psychology, NLP, its basis premise is that the human brain functions similarly to a computer. Okay. And so hence you programmed. Computers can be programmed. You've been programmed, right? And now these programmings show up as your behavioral patterns. They show up in your behavior. Your subconscious mind tells your body what to do. My subconscious mind told my fingers to do this before my conscious mind even knew what it was going to do. You are being programmed and you are operating from your subconscious mind and subconscious thoughts. So let's take this a step further. When you choose to think thoughts, feel feelings, and say words and move in ways that bring about feelings within you, you are now vibrating at that frequency. Let's be real. We are energy beings. We are full with mostly water, and water is what? Energy. And so when you fear there is never going to be enough money, that fear is vibrating through your body. That vibration is going to do nothing but bring about unexpected bills. It's going to bring about deep overwhelm, and you're going to view money from a lack perspective. This is how you'll be moving and grooving in your life when it comes to money, especially when you have this kind of fear. But when you have faith, right? Let's put the script on the opposite end of it. When you have faith, more money will come, more money's on the way. All of a sudden, unexpected money shows up for you. All of a sudden, you have a deep appreciation for money. You view money in an abundant way, and you just know more money is coming right back to you. And it's funny how your body reacts to those said feelings, okay? So, why do we need to clear our money blocks? All change happens on the subconscious level. You have 6,000 thoughts a day. 95% of these thoughts are on repeat. So what does that mean? Same thought, same behavior. So what are some of these thoughts, right? Some money blocks are failure is bad, right? But if we don't fail, we don't learn. If we don't fail, we don't grow. So when we think failure is bad, it keeps us from showing up. It keeps us from doing the things we need to do in order to grow to the next level, in order to grow to our higher selves, right? That's how it shows up in your behavior. Money is the root of all evil. The moment you even think money is the root of all evil, it makes you not want to have more. It makes you feel bad for asking for more. It makes you feel bad for wanting more, right? And the truth of the matter is, abundance is your birthright. You're meant to be prosperous. So that right there is killing it for you. Money doesn't grow on trees. That lack of abundance, that lack of thought that more money is coming makes a lot of people hold on to it so tightly that they can't even enjoy the money that they have. Okay. That's how it shows up in your behavior. I'm a bad person if I want a lot of money. That thought alone is going to show up in a way where you're not going to want to make more. You're not going to do the things you got to do to make more, because I don't want to be a bad person having more money. Or even the thought that rich people are mean, terrible people. Same thing. You're not going to want more money because you don't want to be one of those rich, terrible people with the money, right? I don't come from a rich family. It makes you feel like you don't have the opportunities. You don't have the chances to make it and get rich. And so therefore, you're not even looking for them. You're just settling for whatever you have. That's how it shows up in your behavior, right? I'll be happy when I achieve my success. We're always setting new goals, setting new things that we want to do. When you wait for that happiness, it will never be achieved. Okay. And it only works sometime. Let's be real. You're manifesting all the time. So if you think it only works sometimes, right there, you don't believe in your power. You don't have the faith that more money is going to come to you easily and effortlessly. And thinking that the how, the when, the where, the who, that's none of your business. You manifest twice. All you got to do is say it the first time and it will show up in your physical reality, especially when you have the faith, knowing that more is coming to you. So here are some quick shifts that equal big results. Pay your bills in gratitude. Pay your bills by being thankful for what you're able to use. Thankful for the lights, thankful for the garbage, thankful for the water. When you pay your bills in gratitude, that means you're attracting more right to you. When you have deep appreciation for the money that you do have, that is just showing up as, oh, I'm so happy for this money. I'm so happy I have this kind of money. Even if it's only 2 pennies, or even if your bank account is negative, that sense of gratitude will attract more money to you. If you focus on the lack, you're going to have more lack. Opt out of there is never enough. That state of mind is keeping you in a never enough state of mind, in a never enough situation. Okay. Ponder on the idea that there's more. There is a reality where there's excess, where there's overflow for your life. When you do that, you are vibrating at that frequency and you're attracting so much more. And then happily swipe your cards. No more swiping nervous when you're at Target because you're nervous that it may be declined. Swipe your card happily, because what happens? You attract more situations for you to be happy about swiping your card. You attract more money so you can be happy about swiping your card. You end up in the right place at the right time to make this money to be able to swipe your card. So when you swipe happily, you do nothing but attract more money, more abundance right to you. So these quick shifts right here, they equal big results for your life. If you start doing these today, your whole life will be changed. So with all that being said, a lot of us just need to find out what's really blocking our path to our financial freedom. So I invite you to take this quiz. What is really blocking your path to financial freedom? Is it some programmed thoughts that you no longer need to believe anymore? Is it something that you went through, a terrible situation that has now blocked you from attracting more money into your life? But find out what is blocking you, because abundance is your birthright. You are meant to have a wealth of money, a wealth of prosperity in your life, whatever your prosperous life looks like to you, because you are a gift. You were brought here as a gift. And so the thing about it is, so many of us are operating on a level of fear that wasn't even our fear. That wasn't even what we actually experienced. It's a fear from somebody else's past. And as we operate on said fear, we end up attracting more things to be fearful of. So when it comes from stress to success, it is time for you to change the way you think and feel about money. It is time for you to attract the money that you deserve. And the only way for you to do that is for a major shift to happen subconsciously for you. And let's be real. You can have new, beautiful thoughts. You can sit up here and say, I want to attract all this kind of money. But if you haven't cleared the old thoughts that are no longer serving you, because that's how your body is showing up, then you will continue to attract the same situations you have always been in. So if you're ready for a shift and you're ready for a change, take this financial quiz right here. Find out what's truly blocking you. Okay. So Coach Jackie got your back, baby. And honestly, I want you to follow me on all the social medias. I'm on IG. I'm on TikTok at The Pursuit to Happy. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Coach Jackie. I am here for you. I want you to know that you are a gift to this world. The moment that you begin to treat yourself like the gift that you are, the moment the world will be a better place for us all. Okay.
Coach Jackie got your back, baby. You are meant to be prosperous and abundant.